Good morning, everyone. I just want to do a real quick check to see, can you hear me? If you can hear me, in your upper right-hand corner on feedback, can you turn yourself purple? Okay. Just one more check. We will get going. Okay, good. All right, well, welcome. We want to get into, just 1 second. All right. We're going to cover key facts on the update for ITIL 2011 edition for practitioners. I've got quite a amount of content here. I want to get through it quick. I encourage all of you to reach out to me one-on-one. My email is davep@pultorak.com. That's D-A-V-E, P as in Peter, at pultorak.com. That's P as in Peter, U-L-T-O-R-A-K.com. Just like with the transition to V2 to V3, although this is of a lesser nature, we want to make sure that we work with our customers and partners to get up to speed on this new version of 2011. One thing I want to let you know is that this session will be repeated with updated content on the 15th of September. The registration link that you got, you can use the same registration link and pass that along to others if they weren't able to make the session. There's quite a bit of people still, believe it or not, on vacation, etc. So we want to get those as well, and that's the 15th of September at this exact time. Okay, so what are we going to cover? What exactly has changed with ITIL 2011 edition? Lots of changes. We'll go through those. Where can I get some of this information? One thing I want to point out there is if you look in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see 3 sheets of paper laying on top of each other. That's the attachments or handouts section. A couple of handouts are there. There are others. When will courses be available? You know, when will the exams be available? We'll just answer all these questions. That's what we're going to shoot for to do today. So the intent of the update with 2011 edition was just to clarify stuff. I mean, it was annoying with the 2007 edition of ITIL, and it's important to understand is they've gotten rid of the V. It's not a new version V4. It's the same ITIL. V3 been updated to mostly 95% to clarify things. And it was very annoying. You go in, this process would be defined and have these parts, and then it would have objectives. This process, the objectives wouldn't be there, it'd be called something else. It's just messy, and it was like, why can't we have consistency from process to process, the way the books are laid out, the way the processes are laid out, so that we know that they're complete, that they're consistent. Well, that was the intent of the update, for that to happen. You know, what they were going after was a standardized structure, reorganized content, and clarified and aligned terminology. Right? So let's just rationalize this stuff, basically, to make sure that when you go from book to book, to process, it's not different. And that was what the mandate was. If you look at this slide, you'll see that out of scope was no new concepts were to be added. Well, guess what? In grand OGC style, as they did with the V2 to V3, not exactly following the mandate. So 95%, I want you to understand, is following this mandate, but there's another 5% which is new concepts added. So what's new? We've got a strategy management for IT services process. Actually, there was a strategy management in strategy management service strategy before, but it wasn't clear. Some people interpret it as a process, other people didn't. Now it's official. It's a process. BRM, we know that's a process. Why wasn't it an ITIL V3? I don't know. So they've added it. Design coordination. One of the kooky things with the 2007 version ITIL V3 is that you had all these processes in design, but none of them were actually the design process. So they've added that. Change evaluation. Evaluation has been renamed to change evaluation. You want to look carefully at that because it's not just a rename. The actual interpretation of what that process is supposed to do, the outcomes has changed. So you really want to carefully look at that. And then there's this new concept of continual service improvement register. We want to make sure that we know and manage, just think about it like a portfolio office for improvements, and you'll get a gist of what that is. So that's the 5% that they added. And you can see that there's what's changed: 26 processes, 4 functions. The thing I want to show you also is that we've updated all our posters to be ITIL 2011 edition. So we've got the old ones, but we have the new ones. If you go to shop.pultorak.com, you can download them all. I think also, let's see if I have the zip file. I can upload it as a handout. Yeah. I'll also, before I exit, I'll also upload them all in a zip format, make it easier for you. One of the things that's up there that's really nice, you remember that you have the horizontal format swirl-looking poster. Well, that's updated, but also the ITIL v3 planner has been updated. And that's the one that lists all the outcomes of each of the processes, and it has a little method on it for individuals and teams to go say, okay, if this is the outcome, what could we do this week, this period, whatever, to make our own improvements in these areas. So that's been a very, very valuable piece of collateral for engagements and engaging with customers and general discussions on where problems are, etc. So definitely want to take a look at that and download. Again, these are all available for free download at shop.pultorak.com. You can also order a hard copy, large format posters there as well, and those are for pay. So what's changed? As you can see, 95% is clarified, expand, right? 5% is new processes, rename processes, things like that. So you can see all this clarification and expansion. By expansion, it means where things were omitted. But there's a couple of things where there's some newer things, cloud computing, governance, further clarification. Remember all that stuff about enterprise governance versus corporate governance, etc. That's been clarified a bit. So the bulk of the changes are in service strategy. And that's based on the change register. People, trainers, others, practitioners coming back and saying, hey, this is confusing. And generally the service strategy, it's been re-articulated. None of the core concepts have changed, but they've been re-articulated and in a way that can communicate to mere humans, right? So it was very textbook ready, that book. They've adjusted that. So that's where the bulk of the changes are. The general changes are, hey, let's rationalize the front matter a little bit and get it to be aligned so that from book to book, when you look at the front, it's the same. It's not out of step. It's in structure and content and coverage. One of the big changes here is inputs and outputs across the service lifecycle. That's a nice addition. It was unclear to a lot of our customers, and when we work with them, we actually developed models for processes and also for life cycle phase, what are the deliverables, not just the activities in the life cycle phase, what comes out of this that feeds into other phases. Well, they've added that, and that's good stuff. And that's why I recommend using the new 2011 edition books. They're out. You can buy them on our store or wherever else, because they're basically the old books, but with some small exception, rationalized to be cleaner, more complete, etc. So org structures, there was some concern over, is this supposed to be suggestive, or is this like, how am I supposed to do it? No, it's supposed to be examples. That's clarified. So you'll see here, it's a lot of clarification. I'm not going to go over these in detail for you. We also already mentioned that service strategy, the bulk of the updates are there. BRM's covered there. This handout you can download and read it, peruse. Trying to think what I want to emphasize here. Let's just get through. You can read these at your leisure. I'm not going to bore you with them. There's about 3 slides per as to what's changed, and there's a handout as well. Let's get on to the impact on the rest of things. Hang on a sec. Okay. 2011 edition, what's changed? There are 55 new terms added to the glossary. Part of that reflects the fact that there was terms used in the book that weren't in the glossary. It's not like they've invented 55 new terms. It's, you know, hey, you're using this over and over, internal versus external service. Where is it in the glossary? 30 terms have been deleted. Some of it is part of where two things like product manager and service owner were used interchangeably. You know, they rationalize that down, therefore the term gets deleted. As far as the syllabi, all of the syllabi have been updated. That's been in proportion to the amount of updates that were performed on the publications. So the biggest changes are in service strategy, because that's the most revised book. There's syllabus change documents that have been published that detail the differences between 4.5 and 4.x and 5.x, which is basically between the ITIL V3 2011 edition, 2007 edition, and the 2011 edition. So they've been updated. The key thing to understand is that these are interim updates. These are transitional updates, meaning the new syllabi are designed to be backward compatible with the 2007 edition ITIL. So in other words, if you teach a 2007 edition course, the syllabi doesn't mention new concepts because the exams right now are transitional as well. Let me get to that right now, because this is the key question. There are no more ITIL V3 2007 edition exams. There's one set of exams for intermediates, for foundations, for everything that are available, and those are the 2011 edition hybrid/transitional exam. What does that mean? It sounds super complicated. All it means is this. For a period of time, maybe 6 months, they want to have exams that work with the old courseware, 2007 edition, and also might work with the new courseware. So whether you take an updated 2011 edition course or take an old 2007 edition course, the exams don't include that 5%. Remember I said 5% of stuff, the new concepts, the CI register, for example. That's not covered. None of that content is covered in any of these exams. So the only exams that are available are the 2011 edition hybrid/transitional exams. Those are designed to be backward compatible to the 2007 courses and syllabi. Sometime in first half of 2012, we expect them to make the examination advice to make the 2011 edition full up exams and syllabi available, at which time we'll rev our courses, and you'll only be able to take a 2011 edition course to pass a 2011 edition exam. Why is that? Because 5% of the content that's new to 2011 edition, those couple new processes in the CI register, etc., are now included in the sample exams, are now included in the actual exams, and that'll make the difference between certain people passing and failing. So I hope that's clear. So basically, can you take our current courseware, the old courseware, and pass these exams? Absolutely. That's what they're designed for. Will we have the new courseware? Yes, we have. We're working on it. We have some of it out, and so we'll talk about it in a second. The ITIL 20, what's actually changed in the sample and actual exams, they've all been updated. Note that they are hybrid transition sample exams. There are as syllabus tracking documents that are available. If you don't have access to them, let me know. I can pass them along to you. But they just basically show the old syllabus, the 4.1 or 4.x, which was 2007 edition, is now, how does that compare to 2011 edition? You can see what the deltas are. In the process of revising the courses, you can see it's different, cleaner in some ways. It's just kind of a pain to go through. There are some things that are nuanced that are that are added, but we just ran just to sort of ease your mind, we just ran a 2007 edition course, the current old courseware, with the new exams, and we had 100% pass rate. So I'm confident that our courses, that's what it's designed to do, will get you to pass the exams. The one thing I do want to tell you is we've revved all our courseware to include even the old stuff, to include the current sample exams, these transitional hybrid sample exams. We want our customers to have the most current representative samples of what they're going to see in the actual exams. So just FYI on that. So as far as our courses, the foundation course is actually available. I don't know if they changed it in the store yet to say from pre-order to order, but you can order the foundation edition. During this transition, you know, if you are teaching some courses, and you know, we got a mix of practitioners here, you can get either type of course delivered, or if you're delivering them yourselves, you can order either course. It just really depends on, you know, my advice is if you're at the tail end of an implementation or a training, stick with the old stuff because it's still forward compatible. If you're just getting started, start with the new stuff. Might be the way to go. So all the courses are being updated. They'll all be available by the 8th, and they're all available for pre-order now. And you can always call if you're ordering courses to clarify what you want, or you made a mistake ordering. Just call Meg at 206-729-1107. She'll make sure you get the right thing and it's aligned, etc. Malca syllabus isn't out yet. As soon as we have the syllabus, we'll be knocking that out. Okay. Qualifications haven't changed except to be, this is the actual, they've revved this picture to take out all the V2, V3 bridge references. That's all been retired. So it's just ITIL right now. And they've actually got rid of the V3. They're no longer just calling it ITIL. Full stop, no V2, V3. It's just ITIL going forward. So just FYI, if you see that, don't be surprised. As far as tool vendors, if you're a tool vendor or if you have tools that everybody does from vendors, how does this affect them? They don't have to re-update. There's no, they have to recertify on the new changed content. But having said that, you know, look at the changes, and you can see, is your tool vendor, you know, going to add something? If the CI register is important to you, is that going to be added? If the strategy management process, or you know, if you've got a vendor that's doing service catalog, are they going to add that or not? What's going to happen there? The practical implications really are 95% clarification. So number one recommendation is use the new materials, use the new books, get the core publications, because you know, a lot of undue effort and spinning and battles occur with the old one where things weren't clear, where people had to interpret or make up an objective because it wasn't listed for a process. Okay, let's get that squared away and take care of that. So use those new materials. I haven't seen a new, you know, there's an Intro to the Life Cycle book. That hasn't been revved yet, so I don't see that yet on the horizon. Just FYI, I'm in the middle of putting together the new version of the ITIL study guide. So I have that and another pocket guide that I'm working on to get out by the end of this year. So that'll be out. That should be useful. That's supposed to be out in this quarter sometime, but I've got to get a final manuscript for the study guide and pocket guide. So look for that towards the end of the year. So using new materials. Do you want to get into any of these new concepts? Well, my thought here is, are these issues for you? BRM, design coordination. I mean, design coordination may be very promising because it wasn't covered at all in the V3 2011 edition, 2007 edition, I'm sorry. So CI register, is that useful to you? If it's an opportunity or problem area for you, you may want to delve into it. So use the new materials because they're rationalized, and then pursue any of these new concepts if they're a problem or an opportunity area for you. So let's just make sure we cover everything we said we'd cover. Yeah, we covered changes to the publications, glossary, etc. Where can you get these? The last slide in this deck covers that. You can also look at the attachments. Blah, 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 new concepts. When are these courses available? The courses are available. The old courses are still available, the current courses, I should say, and the foundation is here by the 8th. The rest of the courses will be out except for Malcolm. That'll be out 4 weeks or so when the syllabus is made available to us. So we talked about the examinations. Can you still get the V3 courses? Yeah. Is there a downside? Not really. They're forward compatible, as I said, and they've been uploaded upgraded with the 2011 edition sample exam, so they'll be representative. So my advice, as I said, is if you're at the tail end of a set of trainings, use the old stuff. If you're just starting anew, use the new stuff. I've earned a V3 certification. Is it still valid? Do I have to update? No, there's no plan been announced. There will not be any kind of, oh gosh, you're only ITIL 2007 edition V3 certified. There's something wrong with you. You need to recertify. There's nothing like that. That's not going to happen. What's the upside downside of using the V3 versus the 2011 edition courseware? I think we covered that. Practical implications for change for practitioners: use the new materials. If there's a problem or opportunity in the new concepts areas or new process areas, maybe have a look at that. And then lastly, if I've started my ITIL expert certification with V3, can I finish with the 2011 edition stuff? Sure, no problem. You can mix and match. Yeah, that's fine. And to that, if there's any issues that you have with in the transition, you know, with what you might order from us, you can always call Meg, 206-729-1107. She'll straighten you right out, and we'll make sure you get the right stuff. And to that also, you know, we've only got a few minutes. I've got a hard stop in 8 minutes, but I want to make sure that if we help our customers, our partners, our instructors through these kinds of transitions, feel free to send me an email personally. It's Dave P, D-A-V-E, P as in Peter, at Pultorak.com, P as in Peter, U-L-T-O-R-A-K.com, with any questions, concerns, issues, requests for information, clarification. I want to make sure you're successful in making this transition to ITIL 2011 edition. Okay? So here's where you can get some of the stuff. I encourage you to pull down the posters. They're cool. They're fresh off the presses. They clarify what was in V2, what was in V3 2007 edition, and what's new in 2011. And I really encourage you to have a look at the this planner poster. As I said, it's all updated. Let's see if I can click on this. I don't know if I can click on that. No, I guess I can't click on that. But let me, I'll just show you. Hang on just a sec.
Dave, it's Kathleen. I think there's a couple questions. I see that Margaret and Joseph have questions. They've changed their seat color. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah, I'm having a little problem with that, but let me get to the questions.
Okay, thanks.
I don't see it. If you have a question, I'd say now's the time to ask. You can just go on audio. I'll field those. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to upload in a zip file all those posters, so they'll be in the attachments in 30 seconds or so. So questions? If you're on mute and you're talking and you're saying wonderful things, you may want to unmute yourself. I'll just let you know that.
Dave, it's Kathleen again. Do you recommend buying the update books or just go through the summary of updates as a practitioner?
I would get them for your group if you can, because you know they're available in soft copy. You definitely want to be able to look at them. They're just a lot more aligned. They're not that expensive. I think £400 or £500 or euros for the set. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper than fighting forever around. Well, what do they really mean about that, and what's the real answer to that when it's actually been worked out? You know, so.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Let me just show.
This is Margaret.
Yeah.
Is there a list as into each of the books as to what changed?
Yeah, that is in your attachments.
Okay.
There's in the handouts, I should say, there's a summary of update, and an update FAQ that lists those things.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so those listed. And then the deck that I actually put up there, I didn't cover them, but it actually covers each one of those. This is what's changed.
Oh, cool. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Let me just see if I can show you this poster. I just want to make sure I go through this because yeah, this one. I'm going to share out my desktop here because I think this is really important. I got to tell you, we get more traction with this thing, and most people, for whatever reason, don't know about it. And now that it's refreshed for this edition, I really want to go over this with you. Share your desktop. Oh, okay. So I love this. I don't know if you guys can see everything here, but basically, you know, when you go to implement ITIL, whether you're helping somebody or you're doing it yourself, it's like I always say, it's the bottom slice of bread in the sandwich. You know, if you don't have a bottom slice of bread on the sandwich falls apart. It's great to have a top slice, which is top-down efforts, service improvement projects to go improve processes, etc. But if you don't have an ask, in a nutshell, in my view, implementing service management and making improvements is changing behavior. Right? So if you don't have an ask of individuals and teams to go out and affect the outcomes that are important to you, you're going to have not long-standing change, and you're not going to have the radical, rabid, viral change that you get when you get people activated. So part of this is we developed this little job aid, which basically says, look, go look at these outcomes at a period, once a week or whatever, and then say, what's 1, 2, 3 simple things that I can do to affect this? What's a win that I can celebrate? You know, if people go and do some great stuff, but nobody says, hey, great job, send a kudos, send an email, you know, buy them a pizza, whatever the heck it is, celebrate those wins, surface those wins. You know, when do you hear things about IT when something goes wrong? You don't want that. So that's helpful. Then what's 1, 2, 3 things I can do in my circle of influence to influence these outcomes this week or period? And then what's something I could ask for? I mean, I get it. Maybe I'll get 1 out of 100 things, but what can I ask for that really, you know, we really need a DML. We really need to clean up our VMM library so we can build provision these VMs better. And then take action and communicate results. But what's cool about this poster, it's large format, available in a couple different formats. It lists in a nutshell the aims of each of the processes. It says, this is what you're shooting for here, buddy. So if you're missing this, if you're off, if this is an improvement or a problem area, what can you do about it? And this gives you a little rubric to go through and do that. So individuals can do it, and then teams can do it. Team leaders can do it and pull these things through. I mean, properly done, when this is applied, you see this in the field, all these great stories coming out. Hey, the circuits and switches guys came up with their own DML, and they cut down unnecessary errors by 85%. And the desktop services guy implemented this simple change management change. They're going to put this sticker on your thing when they're moving your PC around. That's really increased SAT with the move data and changes process by 60%. You know, that's the kind of thing you want to see. And you get people activated, they'll come up with things that you wouldn't even thought of in their patch. And again, if you think about this as changing behavior, it makes a huge difference. That's why I want to share this with you. These are available. The full-up ITIL 2011 edition full-up swirl posters are available that look kind of like this, but with the swirly things in the middle, as well as the horizontal wallpapers and everything. So they're all free. If you want a hard copy, we can ship that to you, the printed versions. But you know, I just want to make sure you're aware of these things because they can make a huge difference in communicating and working with making these improvements. So we're actually out of time. I encourage you to send me an email if you've got further questions. I appreciate you taking the time. Again, there's going to be a repeat of this session on the 15th of September at this exact time. The registration link that you were sent for this one will work for that one as well. So if you have a colleague who's still on vacation and has their toes in the sand, etc., but needs to get up to speed on this, we'll cover this content along with anything that's due and latest breaking at that point. So thanks for joining today. I do appreciate it, and I look forward to corresponding with you via email.